Again, it's just me. I'm gonna be ranking some more Dark Souls bosses. There we go. So here we have all the bosses from the third game. Also, like every other video, check them out if you haven't seen them, by the way. I'm gonna take them one by one as they appear. So Abyss Watchers will go first, and then Aldrich, and as you go. The ones furthest to the left, closest to the letter, are the strongest ones in that category, in that tier. Alright, first off, Abyss Watchers. Even when I replay the game, it's not necessarily a hard fight. The only thing that's hard about it is the amount of enemies you can face potentially. But then they also fight amongst each other, so it becomes slightly less difficult. Where it's the strongest in terms of a boss fight is both the atmosphere, obviously, the lore, but also the cinematic feeling of the fight. It's a very cinematic fight, and it's always fun. It's always a fun fight, perhaps one of the most fun fights in the game. I'm gonna do something perhaps controversial, but it's an A. It's just a good fight through and through, I think. Plus the cutscene before the second phase is also badass. Very cinematic. I appreciate the fight immensely. Aldrich. Oh, Aldrich? Someone's misspelled. Or is that what it's called? Give me a sec.
12 seconds later.
Someone has definitely misspelled, but that's okay. We don't judge. Aldrich is one of the more lackluster fights. Very uninspired overall. The few things that's unique about the fight is, well, the form obviously, but it's taken some sorceries, some moves from Gwendolyn, and that kinda makes it slightly less interesting. I do like the scythe move, the life hunt scythe, that it's incorporated in the moveset of the boss. And I also like, if you follow Henri's questline, I don't know which path it is, but it is the path where you get and fight Aldrich with Henri. Then it's also a very impactful fight. So overall, in terms of background lore and story, I should say, it's a good fight. But in terms of gameplay, I think it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. I find it more annoying than fun. And you shouldn't feel that way about the boss. I think it's a C. A high C though. Slightly below average in terms of quality and fun. Then we have Ancient Viven. Oh my god, this can't even be considered a fight. It's just a gimmick fight, and to their credit, they have done worse gimmick fights. Against them, they have also done way better gimmick fights. It goes straight into D. I don't even consider the dragon to be a boss, or the Viven, sorry. Now here is where it gets interesting. Champion Gundyr. This is probably one of my top 3 most fun fights in the game. Let me double check.
12 seconds later.
Top 4. Top 3, top 4. Give or take. Again, like the Abyss Watchers, it's just a fun fight. The boss has a lot of lore behind it. Gundyr is an interesting character that's vastly underestimated in the entire game. Even though the places he is positioned at, if you say it that way, is highly important. So it's strange that people don't really appreciate him all that much. This is not a joke. This is not a joke. I love that boss. It's so fun. Yeah, I've never been one to... I haven't been the guy who parries a lot. I never really learned the form from the first game. I never parried in the second game. It's only in the third game and also Bloodborne that I began to learn how to parry. And now when I went through the game twice in the last month, I recognize how easy it is if you learn how to parry. It's just a fun fight, in my opinion. And fun always comes first. Plus the arena, when you fight him in Untended Graves, is... so... Grave Tender, Great Wolf, Champion Great... yeah, whatever. This is also one of those lackluster fights. The arena is absolutely beautiful, but for the boss itself I could not care less. I fought this boss like 2 days ago, so it's very fresh in my mind, and what I can say is It's just uninspired in my opinion. It's very uninspired. I don't feel like I should care. I don't feel like I care. And honestly, if you don't really want the Fight Club thingy, you can definitely skip this. Or the weapon, of course. Definitely skippable. You shouldn't feel that way about the boss. Some moves are obviously also inspired by Sif. It feels like a cheap knockoff. I think it goes in the D. Crystal Sage. Also a slight gimmick fight. Depends on how you see it, I think. I don't know if you can see it, but actually... Wait, come on, focus. I don't want to spill. But it's better than it looks. It's super good. Crystal Sage is slightly gimmicky. The design is obviously inspired by Logan. It even says so if you read the item descriptions. Talk to Andre, you can learn something about them as well. I just think that it's an okay fight. It's definitely an okay fight, but there are way better fights. The only thing that's fun about it is me and a friend, when we played through the entire game when it had first come out, this boss always was bugged out. We couldn't kill the boss. We never could kill the boss. We were stuck for like 25 minutes. We just gave up. We couldn't kill the boss. Amazing. I think it's worse than Aldrich, yeah. Below average, definitely. Greatwood is one... If you've seen my videos on the worst bosses in the Souls games, this is the first one that comes in at number 10. But when I think about it, it probably deserves way lower, or higher if you should say that, placement in the list. The arena, the lore, absolutely immaculate. However, the fight itself is just tedious. It's not fun, it's not interesting, and they really threw away this section below. Pit of Hollows, that's what it's called. They could have done way more with that area. Like imagine the floor breaks, it falls down into the center of the arena. You get me? And you have to run around on the outer edges of the Pit of Hollows. It's way smaller. Okay. So it's similar to the Leechmonger, but it's a smaller arena. And you have to run around in order to get to the eggs, crush them, while avoiding its attacks. That could have been way more interesting. And when you beat the boss, you get a little section, a little like small space behind it that you can then discover the Covenant from, where you can discover the Covenant. So I think the potential is there. They just really didn't care. It feels like they didn't really care about this boss. It's probably the worst fight in the entire game. It probably is. I'd rather fight Ancient Viven. Yeah, I feel that way. But the Dancer of the Boreal Valley, it's a good fight. It's a really good fight. It kind of stands out even today when I replay the game. There's something about it that just draws me to the intrigue of dodging perfectly, or if you're playing a strength-based character, how you can shield the attacks and counter at the correct time. And the smoothness of the Dancer is oof. The design itself is also oof. Really, they nailed this boss. In the base game, it's one of the strongest ones. And I would feel amiss if I didn't place this in the S section. It's really, really good. Dark Eater Midir. Oh boy. This is also a juicy one. It's... Let me give it a short thought. It is, without a doubt, the best dragon fight in the series. It's better than Calamite, yes. It's very anime in some ways, but also grounded design-wise. I like the fight, and it's a challenging one at that I think people really appreciate. Those who want a challenge can appreciate it. What else is there to say? Oh, the music is... And the lore is... Oh my god. Just read up on Midir if you haven't. It's A sad tale, yet also extraordinary. I think it goes first. It's better than Champion Gundyr, yes. That's how good the fight is. I think it's... oh. Now here comes the controversial take. I don't know if you're ready for this. I don't know if I'm ready for this. The Deacons of the Deep. Alright. Deacons of the Deep. I love this fight. I love the design of the arena. I like the style, the music. Oh my god, the music. However, what I don't like is that it's too easy. I say this as I have died to the haze. I don't know how, but I have once. But it's still too easy. On reruns you just clap them all. But it's a fun fight. It is really a fun fight. And I think it is just short of being fantastic. They could have done more with the arena. That's what I feel. They could have done something with the coffin of Aldrich. Something more. It feels slightly uninspired. The question is where we should put it. I also like the mob aspect. That if you're powerful enough, you just feel like you're mowing down enemies. If you have a great sword, so if you have the profaned great sword, you just with flames. Oh my god. Yeah, it's going into A. I don't care. This is my list, okay? My personal opinions. That's just how it is. The Demon Prince, however, is a B. Because the arena is fine. I love the difference of the princes, and whichever one you choose to kill first impacts the boss, the third stage sorta, or the second stage depending on how you choose to view it. What I don't like is that it feels kinda cheap sometimes. The epicness is there, but going in solo is very difficult, especially if you're slightly underleveled. Or if you're a main pyromancer, I think it's semi-hard, at least. I kill it solo though. I usually kill it solo. I prefer it that way. It feels like a real challenge. But it just doesn't reach that high. I know I'm very like this. Deacons of the Deep, Demon Prince. That's a little sus. But it's no cap, as the youth say. That was so cringe, I'm sorry. Anyway, so... we have Dragon Slayer armor. The only thing I really dislike about the fight is the angels. Or angels. That's the thing I really dislike about the fight. It feels, again, cheap that they start to attack you in the... when its HP reaches half, approximately. Or is it time-based? I'm unsure about that. I still think you should have fought the armor one-on-one. When you fight him in the DLC, obvious spoilers. It's a way better fight, all in all. The music is stellar. Again, could have been so much more. The best way to fight him is turning off the HUD and just going at it, trying to decide if you should heal or not, and not really knowing how much HP you have and being on edge the entire time. That's a thrill. I think it goes over Demon Prince, but it doesn't reach the A tier. Half-Light. It's okay. A potentially forgettable fight. The aspect I like about it is the online part, that if you're online, you potentially fight not an NPC, but a player character instead, which I like. That's probably the best part about the fight. If you play offline, it's okay. I mean, there are worse bosses, definitely, but it doesn't stand out. It doesn't really shock you in any way, and probably the best part about the fight is patches, that you can summon patches to help you. That's probably the best part. That's how it is. Judex Gundyr. Did you know that Judex means judge in Latin? Which has some implications. That the boss is considered a judge if you are worthy to proceed the rest of the game, if you're worthy to enjoy the rest of the game. It feels a bit morally grandstanding, But it's not the way that I mean. It's just a good boss to learn from. Or you should dodge when you're being too aggressive. That sometimes bosses can be unpredictable. I'm talking about the second part. And that you can beat every boss if you choose to. It's fair. It's fair. It's still a C though, I'm sorry. Or is it? This was hard. Maybe a B. It's a B. Definitely, it's a B. Yeah. Lothric and Lorian. A good combo fight that's actually done well, I think. It doesn't feel cheap to fight two enemies. They've kind of incorporated in a good way. And fighting Lorian is anime AF. The only thing I dislike is that sometimes the camera loses focus despite you being in the vicinity of him when he teleports. That I don't like. It's definitely killed me more than once. That's what happens. I just prefer to be locked on during the fight. Oh well. Then we have some of the gimmick that if you don't kill Lothric, Lorian will never die completely. He will be resurrected again and again. And you can of course get the boss weapon, and you can fuse their boss weapons into a separate one, a more complete form. I actually think the Lothric's straight sword, Lothric's holy sword, sorry, is a good weapon. I liked it. The weapon art is something unique, and I had hoped that it would be a bit better and I would main it on my faith guy. Alas, it wasn't. Still a good fight. I'll probably put it in the A tier. Very even spread, I'm seeing now. It's better than Deacons of the Deep. Yes, it is, definitely. I know one of my friends who's probably gonna watch this. Hi, if you are. It's gonna have some... They don't like to fight at all, so pretty funny seeing how different tastes align. Nameless King, I mean... Is there any other option? I don't think there is. A fun fight, two-part fight. Lore, check. Arena, check. Epicness, check. Soundtrack, it's quite good. Difficulty, check. What else? It's just a great fight. They nailed so much with that fight. So kudos to the designers who made the boss. Well done. Check up on his lore. If you have played Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, really good lore. Osiris is gonna go straight into... I think something like that. Yeah. When reading about Osiris and the implications of the fight, in the first section at least, is intriguing. And very disturbing. And it gets worse as you progress. But it's an okay fight. It's middle of the pack. I love how Osiris was inspired by Logan and his research, and it kinda drove him mad, Mad King Osiris. But the fight itself is kinda mid, so that's why it gets mid. Old Demon King, man, I'm sorry to say, but this is a C. Half-Life is better. Is Aldrich better? Aldrich is better. Is Aldrich better than Half-Life? Yeah. So the Old Demon King is just one of those fights that you don't really need to do. If you're a Pyromancer and want to whip, fine, go ahead. Go for it. And the set also, of course. Go for it. But if that's all, and you're not a Pyromancer, you might as well skip it. Or, yeah, well... It's easy souls, so why not? Feels very out of place. And I don't mean the area. The area fits extremely well. I like it. It's just... There's no build-up. There's no story bits. There's no lore bits. In my opinion, there are, of course. They are so mediocre that I don't really care. So the build-up could have been way better. Oh well, that's how it is. Pontiff Sullivan. I've dreaded this day. Oh no. 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 I'm sorry. I'm sorry, okay? Can I put him into B? Is he good? Well, it is a good fight. It is a good fight. How good is it though? Do I like Deacons more? Yes, I do. Oh no. Sorry, I'm gonna get blasted by everyone watching this like, how the fuck can you put him into Baba? Because many people like him. And I do like him. The design, the lore aspect, the story, everything like that. The arena, great. Music could have been better. It should have been the main theme, main menu theme, like we all want it to be. Originally intended to be the last boss of the game, I just think it misses something that makes it wow. Plus, I can't parry for shit, which is also why I struggle against the boss. Despite that, I think it's a fair fight. Even though he can summon his other guy, it feels fair. A bit unpredictable at times, but fair. Sister Frida. Apparently they say Frida. Frida. I'd like to say Sister Frida. But alas, an okay fight. Should not be in Dark Souls 3, probably. Feels more like a Bloodborne fight. Many have voiced their concerns, which kinda mirrors my thoughts about the fight. However, it's still a good fight. It's a really good fight. Now we'll do like that, and we'll do like that. Do I like Sister Frida more? Yeah, I probably do. That's better. That's better. Almost gets into the S tier just for the reason of being fantastic. It's a tough boss, and oh boy, I've died to that boss a lot of times. But it's interesting. Good boss weapon, not weapons. Don't make 3 tier bosses though. Don't make 1 phase, 2nd phase, 3rd phase. Don't. All right, Slave Knight Gale. Holy f***, that's a fantastic boss fight. It is shared first place in the entire game. The epicness and just the story of Gale, if you actually pay attention, is so freaking sad. I'm doing a critique video of Dark Souls 3, and it's gonna be my longest video I've ever done. Probably in terms of, not length, but in terms of, it's gonna be my biggest video, I should say that. In terms of scope and effort. There is just so many good things to say. The moves and the epicness and the story, as I said before. The irony of the fight and where it takes place. I won't say anything more than that, but the arena and the irony of who these 2 fighters are, you and Gale, and what you're fighting about it's poetic. It's a very fitting end in the terms of being the last piece made of the Soul series. Soul series, not Soul Spawn. Fantastic fight, and the Soul of Cinder. Keep in mind, these are shared first places. They are both number 1. I can't choose one over the other. It's impossible. Okay? It's impossible. I can't do it. Soul of Cinder is such a well-made, smart boss in terms of gameplay, legacy, story, lore, and design, and the arena, the epicness, what's at stake, the music, the music. I'm always speechless when I fight him, because or it, I should say. It's very hard to put down into words what I think about this boss without doing it an injustice. It deserves so much more, and it's honestly, it's strange how I didn't even include this fight into the top best fights in the series. Or did I? I might have done it. I should have done it if I didn't. If I didn't do it, I did miss something. Yeah, Soul of Cinder is legendary, and the way they incorporate, like I said, the legacy of the former games, and they kind of weave that into the story of this game. So everyone that have played these games feels included in some way, and oh my god, it's a perfect send-off. Okay, I'm done raving about the fight, but it's fantastic. Wart of the Boreal Valley. I mean, it's okay, nothing special. I remember it being something special the first time, but then it kind of lost it lost my interest, to be short. But it's not a bad fight per se. I'd rather fight him over the old Demon King. Yeah, that feels like a perfect spot. Hi Lord Volnir. Oh my god, I went in blind when I played through it the first time. I hadn't read anything before. I didn't watch any trailer either, I think. No, I just watched the announcement trailer. So I did not know how Volnir looked. I did not know where you fought him. And I was so fucking scared of him. I was teleported to the abyss and I was like, oh nice, okay. An item and such. And then a big ass skeleton right in my face. I almost died. I've always had a fear of skeletons since I was little. Due to obvious reasons, I think. Due to certain reasons that isn't obvious and some that are. Anyway, the fight is okay. It's a gimmicky fight. You can kill the boss without destroying the bracelets. I have done so. I just did so recently. In fact, not even a week ago with Pestilent Mist. An interesting strategy, but I don't like the boss. He can get absolutely insane in his head because he has no brain and do weird ass shit that kind of fucks you up. Or he can be an absolute piece of cake. I can do this with no eyes type of boss. Very flippant, very 50-50 in terms of... But the first time it was a real treat. The first time it was a good fight. Then it lost a lot. Question is, where should I put him? Is he better than Half-Light? I think he is. Barely. The atmosphere of the arena is scary. Jorm the Giant. The final one. And here comes another very controversial opinion. Jorm is a good fight. I know it's a gimmicky fight, but I have fought the boss. One of the first times I did it without knowing about the blade that is effective against giants. And I did not do Sigvard's questline. Hence, I did the fight normally, and it was very tough. It took me a long while, but holy shit was it fantastic. Also a cinematic fight with a lot of effects, and it feels like something highly impactful on both the game's story and the reason why you're fighting against Jorm. Jorm is a tragic character, for sure. It's just a shame that he doesn't get more, how do you say, weight in the game's main story. I know he's one of the Lords of Cinder, but aside from that, he doesn't really get any screen time, sorta. So, it's a shame. The fight itself is good. I would even go as far. This is gonna piss off a lot of people. Oh my god. I don't care. Because this is my opinions. It's going straight into A. I do not care. Yeah. Let me double check. Every S tier is where they should be. A, B. Osiris could have maybe been a C. Maybe Eudex could have been a C. Aldrich could probably also be a B. Depends on what mood I'm in. But this is overall what I feel like about the game. Sue me. So what did you think? Am I completely out of my mind? Have I lost it? Or do you, for change's sake, agree with me? Let me know down below. Check out the other videos I've done about ranking the bosses. And I will be seeing you in the next video. Until then, believe in yourself and have a good one. Bye.